The first sign that something was wrong wasn't the broken lock. It was the silence. At exactly 6:12 a.m., the automatic shutters of the luxury department store Bellamy and Company rolled open onto the cold streets of downtown Manchester. Usually, the place hummed with life before sunrise, delivery workers arguing near the loading dock, cashiers laughing over burnt coffee, music playing softly through the speakers. But that morning, the store felt dead. Store manager Clara Whitmore stepped inside first. Her heels clicked across the marble floor as she headed toward the jewelry section. Then she froze. The glass display counters were shattered. Thousands of diamonds, luxury watches, and gold chains were gone. And spray painted across the wall behind the empty cases were 3 words: "You missed something." By 6:45 a.m., police sirens flooded the street. Customers gathered behind barricades while detectives sealed off the building. News stations called it one of the most sophisticated retail thefts the city had seen in years. But investigators would soon discover the robbery wasn't just about stolen jewelry. It was about betrayal hidden inside the store itself. Lead investigator Daniel Mercer arrived at the scene just after sunrise. Mercer had spent 18 years working organized crime cases across northern England, and something immediately bothered him. There was almost no forced entry. The rear security door had been opened using the correct access code. The alarm system had been disabled for exactly 11 minutes, and the cameras covering the jewelry wing had mysteriously gone offline at 2:13 a.m. "Inside job," Mercer muttered. Crime scene technicians dusted the shatter counters for prints while forensic analysts reviewed the digital security logs. What they found deepened the mystery. Someone had logged into the security system using the credentials of a night supervisor named Ethan Doyle. But Ethan had an alibi. At least, that's what he claimed. According to Ethan, he had spent the entire night at a pub across town watching football with friends. Surveillance footage partially confirmed it. Still, Mercer wasn't convinced. People lie. Security logs don't. The deeper investigators looked, the stranger things became. There were no fingerprints on the smashed jewelry cases. No footprints. No DNA. The thieves had moved with military precision. Even more disturbing, they knew exactly which safes contained the most expensive inventory. They ignored cheaper items completely and stole only unregistered diamonds that were difficult to trace internationally. This wasn't random, Mercer told his team. Someone fed them information. Investigators began interviewing employees one by one. Cashiers, warehouse workers, security guards, cleaning staff. Everyone looked nervous. But one employee stood out, Lena Hoffman. She had worked at Bellamy and Company for nearly 9 years. Quiet, reliable, never missed a shift. Yet during questioning, Mercer noticed something odd. When asked about the stolen inventory, Lena knew the exact value before checking the records. 3.8 million pounds. Not approximately. Exactly. Mercer leaned back slowly. How did you know that number? Lena blinked, then smiled nervously. I handle inventory reports, she replied. Technically, she was right, but Mercer's instinct screamed otherwise. 3 days into the investigation, forensic analysts uncovered a hidden detail buried inside the security system. Someone had remotely accessed the store network 2 weeks before the robbery. The access point traced back to an abandoned warehouse near the docks. Police raided the location immediately. Inside, they found maps of Bellamy and Company, employee schedules, photographs of security cameras, and detailed sketches of the jewelry vault. But the biggest shock came from a burned notebook recovered from a trash barrel. Most pages were destroyed, except one. Written across it was a single name, Lena. When detectives brought Lena back in for questioning, she broke down almost immediately. But her confession wasn't what anyone expected. She admitted she had leaked internal inventory information, not for money, for love. 6 months earlier, Lena had started dating a charming businessman named Victor Hale. He claimed to import luxury watches across Europe, expensive suits, fancy restaurants, private cars. He made her feel seen, important. What Lena didn't know was that Victor was connected to an international burglary crew operating across Europe. At first, he asked harmless questions about the store, delivery times, security routines. staff schedules. Then the questions became more specific. Eventually, Lena realized what was happening, but by then, she was trapped. Victor had secretly recorded their conversations and threatened to frame her as the mastermind if she refused to cooperate. She was terrified, Mercer later said, but the case was far from solved, because Victor Hale had vanished. Days turned into weeks. Then came the twist nobody saw coming. A financial crimes analyst discovered unusual transfers connected to Bellamy and Company's insurance records. Large policy adjustments had been made shortly before the robbery. Someone inside upper management had increased coverage on the jewelry collection by nearly double. Just 12 days before the theft, Mercer's attention shifted toward store executives. That's when investigators uncovered secret meetings between Victor Hale and the store's regional director, Graham Pierce, the man who publicly claimed to be devastated by the robbery. Phone records showed multiple encrypted calls between them in the weeks leading up to the crime. Mercer finally saw the full picture. The robbery had never been just a burglary. It was insurance fraud, and Lena had only been a pawn. Police arrested Graham Pierce at his countryside home outside Leeds. Hidden inside his garage were luxury watches matching Bellamy and Company's inventory numbers. Under pressure, Graham confessed. Sales at the department store had collapsed over the previous year. Corporate executives were preparing to shut locations down, including Manchester. Graham was drowning in debt. Victor Hale approached him with a plan. Stage a robbery. Claim the insurance payout. Split the money. To avoid suspicion, they used Lena to gather internal information, while Ethan Doyle's stolen credentials disabled the security system. But something went wrong during the robbery itself. One of the thieves panicked and smashed additional display cases unnecessarily. That reckless mistake turned a clean operation into a media frenzy and ultimately exposed everyone involved. Victor Hale remained missing for nearly 4 months. Then, in a quiet border town near Belgium, customs officers stopped a suspicious transport truck carrying hidden luxury jewelry beneath industrial machinery. Inside the truck was Victor himself, trying to flee into Eastern Europe. Detective Mercer personally traveled to assist in the arrest. During interrogation, Victor showed no remorse, only anger. He blamed greed, the economy, corporate corruption, everyone except himself. In the end, Bellamy and Company reopened under new ownership. Lena Hoffman received a reduced sentence after cooperating fully with investigators, though many believe her life had already been destroyed long before the courtroom. Ethan Doyle was cleared of involvement. Graham Pierce received 12 years for fraud, conspiracy, and organized theft. Victor Hale received 18. But years later, Detective Mercer admitted one detail still haunted him: the message spray painted on the wall. You missed something. Because even after all the arrests, investigators never recovered nearly half of the stolen diamonds. And somewhere, hidden in Europe's criminal underworld, someone else had walked away rich. If you enjoyed this shocking true crime story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more mysteries, robberies, and crime investigations that will keep you hooked. What do you think? Was Lena truly a victim, or was she part of the plan from the beginning? Drop your thoughts and theories in the comments below.